I live in the top story of an apartment complex. The place is really old, there are several cockroaches in the halls, and there hasn't been a day where I haven't found a dead bird or mouse outside. It may be crappy, but it's all I can afford until I finish my senior year at college. I'm a sophomore right now. Other than it being quite unsanitary, I only really have one complaint. My neighbor's kids keep on crying, and it's always followed by the sound of screeching tires. It always happens at the same time every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Now me, being the patient person I am, I've been trying to live with it through my 2 years here. This crying is annoying enough, but the confusing part is I've never seen a little girl around the complex. All of my neighbors either don't have kids or have a son. I always think to myself, maybe I'm just at my classes whenever she leaves her house. That seems like a logical explanation, right? My friend, Lorraine, told me that she had done some research on my apartment after I told her about the crying. She told me a little girl had been killed on the road my apartment was on. She had died by being run over 3 years ago. If what she's saying is true, then that probably means her ghost would be haunting the place. From what I've learned about ghosts, they only haunt the area they died in, if they have unfinished business. So I would assume she wants to scare the person who killed her to death. However, I'm pretty sure she would be buried somewhere far away from here, since there aren't any cemeteries nearby. Wouldn't her spirit follow the remains of herself, or am I just stupid? Lorraine also told me what car it was. They didn't get the plate though. It was a car used by people when they took their driver's test. Wait a minute, I was learning how to drive 3 years ago. I was 16 at the time. While I was driving through this road in my neighborhood, I had hit something. I wanted to go check what it was, but my driver instructor told me to leave it alone. People hit things on the road all of the time. It was probably just a kid's bike or something. Now, I wish I had followed my instincts. That probably wasn't just a kid's bike, but an actual child. It's almost the time when she cries in the afternoon. I'll go downstairs and try to find her. Maybe if she can finally get her revenge, she'll be able to rest. Her life was taken away so unfairly. It wouldn't be right to keep her restless. I look down at my watch and see the time, 3:25 p.m. Just 5 more minutes. I stand out near the area where the accident happened, but then I hear from behind me, "You came back." I turn around in a flash. It isn't time yet, but there standing in front of me is the girl from the pictures of the case. Even though I am absolutely terrified, I speak back to her. "Yes, I'm aware of what I did 3 years ago, and I'm sure you have some business to attend to with your killer, which in this case is me. Now, you may exact your revenge in any way you see fit. This doesn't seem too bad. I don't really care what happens to me, as long as she can get her revenge." "What are you talking about?" she asked me. "You aren't the one that needs to be punished, you're the one that's going to help me." "What?" I inquire. This doesn't make sense. I was the one who ran her over. I should be her target.
"When we become ghosts, our death replays. This happens so we know who to go after or apologize to, or whatever needs to be done. When I saw my death, I was less concerned about exterminating you. I was concerned with how my family had reacted."
"How did your family react?"
"They didn't really care. Anytime they needed to be questioned, they cried crocodile tears and pretended to be devastated about my death. I was never treated like their daughter, I was more of a guinea pig to them. I was used as bait to test if my grandfather was a pedophile. And even after he was proved to be one, they never did anything about it. They were the ones that made me sit in the middle of the road, Since there's a DMV in the area, there are a lot of learner drivers that come through here. They knew someone would be learning to drive that day, so they saw that as the perfect opportunity. The worst part about this is that nobody came to my assistance. Several people walked past me and not one of them made an attempt to help me. I was just sitting there. They could have easily moved me from the road. The reason why I stayed there is because I was stupid enough to believe my mother when she told me to wait there. And if I stayed there long enough, I'd get a reward. I was so desperate to be valued by my family that it led to my death. After she finished speaking, I saw that some tears began to run down her face. I bent down to her level and tried to console her. I may not know how you feel, but I know whatever you went through was not deserved. Whatever you need me to do, I'll be willing. Her crying had ceased to occasional sniffles. "Thank you," she said in a quiet voice. "Now you'll be given your first order, my helper." "What is it?" "Whatever it is, I'll be up to the task."